Coming up in episode 102 of HubShots,
we have tips for improving email conversions, how to identify AdWords traffic in HubSpot reports, creative ideas for distributing content, and also a great Chrome extension that will really help your browsing. Welcome to HubShots, the podcast for marketing managers and sales professionals who use HubSpot. My name's Ian Jacob from Search and Be Found, and with me is my co-host Craig Bailey from XEN Systems. How are you, Craig?
I'm well, Ian. Great to be here. Did you know that 47% of people would buy from a bot?
That is a huge number,
That's a
Craig.
good stat. We'll be chatting about that right at the end of the show.
Now, Craig, on to our inbound thought of the week. And this is an excellent post from Talia Wolf, who we've featured many times in shows.
We have. We love Talia.
And this time, another tip from her guide to higher email conversions. Now, I think why this is important before you go on to the points is email has the biggest ROI as a marketing channel. So
yeah, that's right.
This is really very key information.
You know, I think email is one of those things that we all do and then we get around to and then we it's almost like, oh, finally we get that out the door. And we
get slack.
Yeah, we get slack with things like subject lines, which she goes through in this article, but also just the structure.
Yes.
And that's what we really wanted to call out. This is from section 5 in her blog post that we've got linked in the show notes.
And she's got a formula, Craig.
Yeah, so she's got 2 recommended formulas. I like her first one the best, the PAS format, where she basically talks about pain, agitation, and solutions. So really thinking about what's your customer's pain. It could be your prospect's pain. What do they really care about it? And how to solve it. And she's actually got some worked examples in her post where she kind of uses examples she's written and then how she's structured them. They're really good. So worth a read.
Okay, and formula number 2, IDA, which is about attention, interest, desire, and action. So grabbing their attention quickly, interest, tell them something that intrigues them and something that they've never heard before, and even something that goes against what they normally do. So to grab that interest. Then the desire is to engage them in the way that leaves the reader wanting to hear more from you and what you've got to offer. And the last point, action, is ask them to take action.
Yeah, interestingly enough, when she talks through that formula, she says that the third point there, desire, is often the one that's left out. So people are good intuitively at the other 3, but they leave out the desire element. So she has good examples of that.
Yeah, so I think this is I think it's a great place to start. And when we're crafting our emails, is actually to use the PAS, which is the pain agitation solution, and see whether you get a better result with your emails next time. All right, Craig, on to our HubSpot marketing feature of the week.
Alrighty, so here's a question for you. You're in HubSpot and you're in the HubSpot reports. How do you identify, and say you've been doing some Google AdWords, how do you identify Google search campaigns versus Google display campaign visits?
And it was an interesting question you asked me, and I had to think about it.
It's a good question, and thanks to Sue Ellen, who reminded me of this. She asked me the other day, and I was like, I don't think you can. Let me think about that. And then, of course, she dug it out as in the sources report, dig into paid search, and then you can actually dig into the auto-tagged PPC, and you'll see it broken out by content network versus keywords or unknown keywords.
Yeah, and I think it says there AdSense or other as content network.
That's right. So content network is the display network stuff. So a good way of separating that out. And we've got a screenshot there from one of my portals there. You can check it out. Thanks, Sue Ellen. Nice one. Oh, by the way, I'll tell you a gotcha. This is a HubSpot marketing non-feature of the week. So this is to do with the HubSpot campaigns, which generally I love.
Yes.
The campaigns report there under your productivity menu.
Correct.
But we were puzzling over this a week or 2 ago where we were driving some traffic from LinkedIn campaigns. So we'd tag that as paid social.
I remember this.
Yeah,
yes.
And we're going, well, we're seeing it on the sources report and I was seeing it in analytics, but I wasn't seeing it on the campaigns report, visits or contacts. I was like, why is that? Anyway, I contacted HubSpot support about it. And did you know, they pointed me to a link, knowledge base article, paid social isn't included, is not, folks, in case you missed that, is not included in campaign tracking. I dumbfounded. But anyway, that's a gotcha.
I thought that was a pretty key part of a campaign.
You'd think so, wouldn't you?
Maybe it's on the list for improvement.
Well, I hope so. But yeah, so look, they're one of those give and take shots this week. Something I love and then something that I didn't love so much.
Excellent. Now, onto our marketing tip of the week, Craig. And this is a blog post that's actually on the HubSpot blog. It's about content distribution ideas. And what I really loved about this one it's about 10 ways to distribute one piece of content, right? Besides doing social sharing. And I thought to myself, but how it starts off in the blog post, it actually says there was a team and they wanted to promote their piece of content, and their goal was to flex their creative muscles, and they had the team challenged to go with 50 ways to distribute the piece of content. And I thought, wow, 50. We do 10 a week.
We struggle at 10. They got to 50. Well done.
So, and then obviously out of the 50, they've taken the top 10 and created this blog post. So definitely have a look at it, use a couple of ideas there. And I think what I really want to highlight out of this is that ideas 9 and 10, right, which is actually quite creative, they do it via recruitment channels.
I thought this was really good, yes.
Yeah, so like LinkedIn job listings and so on.
That's right. They're promoting their content. So their example they gave was the HubSpot culture code, which they included in job listings. And then the one I really liked is they said when they have candidates come along, they send them a piece of content and ask them to review it because they'll discuss it in the interview. Their point is, well, you can't get much more targeted than that kind of as a reader or an audience member, and then force them to read your content. Nice one.
Yeah, so look, have a look at it, get some ways, and I think just think outside of the box about how you can distribute your content further than just doing social sharing. All right, Craig, onto our HubSpot sales feature of the week. This has been a bit of a gotcha at times for us, but it's checking your timeline filters are correct and seeing that everything you need is actually on and not in the timeline. So make sure there's a filter button on the side and it tells you how many filter options you've actually got it enabled versus what's there. And one of the really key things is making sure that you've got the really key ones ticked. So, example, if you've got any integrations like HelloSign, for example, where you're expecting signatures from documents or estimates, really key to have that on because like you want to see them in the timeline when they've actually signed a document so you can trigger off the next process. Little things like that, but I encourage you to go have a look.
Yeah, this timeline feature, just a bit of a diversion here. I actually reckon they'll optimize this diversion. I think we'll see in the future, rather than that filter timeline drop down, I think we'll see like a bunch of icons across where some are highlighted, some are just grayed out to show where they're enabled, and you can quickly tick them on or off. Because I quite like ticking on or off page views or
a bit like the Google
thing.
search.
A bit like Google search?
Yeah, so on the Google search, a little diversion here.
Yeah.
Example, you're searching for a local business and you so I did one today. I was helping a friend of ours that has a day spa. I did a search for their day spa. So I said I was looking for a particular, like day spa treatment. Then I said, it gave me options like, is it open now, tomorrow, day after? I clicked that button. It then said within this distance. It gave me a couple of distances. I just clicked that button. And I basically filtered down to what I wanted.
Right, okay.
So I'm thinking it's a similar experience we're talking
about. It could be. And, well, the reason I raise is because quite often we run into that gotcha where people go, I wasn't seeing it. And, did you go to the filter timeline, tick that on or off? Yeah, who turned that off? That kind of stuff.
Yeah. By the way, the next thing you were going to highlight, which was the bonus feature, was the consolidated view of the timeline, which I've actually been really liking because it really highlights a bit. As I think this becomes an issue as people really jump on your site and they're looking at pages and understanding where they've been. I think this is a great they've just done it really well.
Yeah, it's really nice. That's a piece of consolidation in the time. So like the timeline is such a key feature, and it's really a compelling differentiator whenever we show HubSpot to people. It's kind of like a landing page, email marketing, I've got Mailchimp. Have you seen the timeline? What?
Totally.
Awesome. They love it. And it's just getting better and better. So yeah.
All right, Craig, on to our app of the week. So this is something I discovered today. And I discovered this because I was actually did a search on Google Maps for a location that we were trying to find. And I saw some reviews and I thought, where is...
Sorry, did you say Google Maps?
Apple Maps.
Apple Maps, yeah.
I did Google Maps as well, but Apple Maps is the one I just tried out as well. And what was really interesting was pulling reviews from Yelp. And so I was telling this business owner they need to actually get that Yelp account. So they actually had to claim that as a business. So the app of the week is actually the Yelp for business owners. So make sure you've actually gone and created yourself an account and actually claimed your business, and then you can manage it out of there. But why it's important is because people use Apple devices and that's where it's pulling reviews from. So it's really important to be on top.
Exactly right. 2 years ago, people were laughing at Apple Maps and rightly so. It was terrible, but how quickly things have changed, and it's predominantly used on Apple devices, yes.
Exactly. Oh, another little tip. In Apple CarPlay, right?
Yeah.
I tested this on a friend that got a new car. So Apple CarPlay works fantastically, right? If you've got Google Maps on your phone, you can't use Google Maps on Apple CarPlay.
Really?
Yes.
What, they've blocked it, or?
You can only use Apple Maps.
Wow. Okay.
So there you go.
Well, but I wonder why they have to do that, because as I was just saying, Apple Maps is used predominantly on iPhones or iOS devices, but Google Maps is there. And of course, it used to be the predominant one, but definitely Apple Maps, I think usage, especially in the US, the Apple Maps is overtaken Google Maps.
Correct.
So, yeah.
All right, on to we're going to call this our Chrome extension of the week, Craig. This is a bit of a gold piece of extension.
This one is fantastic. It's the one-click extension manager. And if you're like me and have a ton of extensions that use in Chrome, and then they're all sitting up there hogging bandwidth and CPU and slowing down your Chrome experience. And of course, if you're on your battery, it's draining, and you're watching your power go down. So then you have to go, menu, tools, extensions, then scroll through and then turn them on and off. That pain with managing your extensions. This extension, another extension, controls your extension. We've got a screenshot. It's just one little icon up in your Chrome extensions section, and then you can turn off. In fact, you can quickly disable all of them if you want, or you can just turn them on and off selectively. It saves so much time, and I love this because I can just quickly say, I'm going to use the built with or the what runs Chrome. I'll just turn it off here selectively rather than having it on all the time, things like that. So really recommend that, and it'll save you a ton of power in Chrome as well over the long term.
Yeah, absolute gold. All right, Craig, on to our podcast of the week. And this is a gold podcast. This is the one by Noah Kagan, and he interviews a guy called Jonathan Siegel. And a very interesting thing is how to double your business this year and lessons from buying 29 companies. I'd encourage everyone to listen to this because you actually get a sense of what he does to increase value of businesses and the things he looks out for. And it's nothing, I can honestly tell you, it's nothing that we don't already know.
All right, I'm going to listen to this one because you've put me onto this podcast a number of times, and I've only listened to the episodes that you've recommended. I actually haven't subscribed to him.
Really?
But every time you recommend one of Noah Kagan's podcasts, I listen to it and go, this is fantastic. And he is the gold standard. He's kind of what we want to be one day in just terms. I just love how he edits and talks it through. Yeah. So the other thing is I like about the title, How to 2 Times Your Business. Like it's probably believable.
That's right.
How to 10 times your business. 10x your business. No, yeah, right.
Anyway, encourage you to listen to that and get some gold gems out of that one. All right. Now, onto our resource of the week, Craig. And this is from HubSpot research around artificial intelligence.
Yeah, and this was research they released at the start of the year. I think we even mentioned this in our Christmas special or our New Year's special back at the start of the year, but it's worth reviewing. Just around artificial intelligence is here. And as you may recall from when we were chatting with Brian Halligan 2 episodes ago, he mentioned how artificial intelligence is such a key part of what HubSpot's doing. So I thought it was worth reviewing this particular research post. And they go through stats. So, for example, most people don't realize that they're using AI tools. And in fact, of this survey that was conducted at the end of 2016, so numbers will have changed since then, 63% were already using AI tools without realizing it. And then it's also changing behavior. So, for example, this whole buy from a bot trend that we're seeing, 47% of those survey respondents said they would buy items from a chatbot. I mean, this is how marketing and commerce is changing. So worth a review. And then at the end of the article.
It's interesting that you're saying, because on the 25th of July this year, HubSpot purchased Chemv.
Oh, yes.
Which is a AI platform to actually bring into HubSpot to help with marketing and sales. So I think people are not realizing that, hang on, it's going on every day, all day on different platforms that we're totally unaware of.
Yeah.
All right, Craig.
Brings us to shot 9, which is an appropriate quote of the week. From
BF Skinner. The real problem is not whether machines think, but whether men do.
Oh, yes, there we go. Just leave that one there, shall we? Yeah, he was a famous psychologist, by the way, so excellent. A good quote from him.
All right, now we've got some bonus links of the week in our show notes. I encourage you to subscribe to our show notes. We would love for you to leave a review on iTunes for us. And we would love your feedback as to what parts of the show you love and what parts of the show you don't love, as we've just gone over the 100 episode mark, and we would love you to join our WhatsApp group. Until next time, Craig.
Catch you later, Ian.
Thank you for listening to this episode of HubShots. For show notes, resources, HubSpot news, including practical strategies you can implement, visit us at hubshots.com.